Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Views and News and I'm Faisal Rehman live from our Islamabad studio. Today is the 25th of December. Today is the 144th birthday of Quaid-E-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of Pakistan. So primarily we'll be talking about the great Jinnah, his vision, his achievements and what he really wanted Pakistan to be. It's almost 73 years since Pakistan came into being and almost 72 years since Jinnah passed away. But are we heading in the right direction? Was this the right and true vision of Quaid-E-Azam? At some stage, did we actually sort of played with our history in a negative way? I won't use the tough words here because a lot of people might not like it, but what exactly Quaid-E-Azam wanted, what exactly is happening at the moment? Are these two philosophies in alignment? I guess, if you ask me about my personal opinion, it is not. Rather, they're poles apart. Where did we go wrong? What exactly happened? How did we sort of got away from what Quaid-E-Azam thought for Pakistan? When we say Pakistan, primarily it's all about Pakistanis. He was able to give us a perfect piece of land to live according to our own culture, according to our own norms, values, ethics, and also follow the religion. But unfortunately, we went wrong somewhere in the history. And after that, we never even thought of correcting that part. We'll be talking about that. But other than that, today is again, since it's the Christmas, so Merry Christmas to all our viewers from the Christian community, all those who are celebrating Christmas in Pakistan, and all those who are celebrating Christmas all over the world. A very happy Merry Christmas to all of you. Before I start the program, let me first of all introduce you to our panelists, and after that, I'll conduct it. We have with us Mr. Rauf Hassan Saab. Rauf Hassan Saab needs no introduction. He's a senior analyst, he's a senior columnist. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And we have with us Hamid Khan Saab. Again, Hamid Saab is a senior journalist and also an analyst, sir. Thank you very much. And we have with us Irfan Khori Saab. Again, needs no introduction. He's a senior columnist and a senior journalist. Thank you very much, Khori Saab, as well. Sir, today Imran Khan Saab, Rauf Saab, in fact, tweeted regarding the birth date of Quaid-E-Azam, what he said. He said, today, on Quaid-E-Azam's birthday, we as a nation must resolve to build Pakistan in accordance with his vision of an Islamic welfare. State based on compassion and human dignity, justice and rule of law, and plural, inclusivist society. That's what he said today. So this is primarily the main ingredients of what the vision of Quaid-E-Azam was all about. But before we start our program, our production team has prepared a report. Let's watch that. And after that, we'll have a question answer session.
His life and his property and the religious belief should be fully protected by the state at any cost. I'm looking forward to making Pakistan as one of the greatest nations of the world.
Quaid-E-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah was a statesman who changed the course of history of Indian subcontinent. Quaid-E-Azam's vision about Pakistan was as clear as crystal. He was a forward-looking man and wanted a secular Pakistan. The speeches of the founder of Pakistan clearly speaks about pluralistic society. He wanted freedom of religion in Pakistan. He wanted national unity and society with no discrimination on the basis of caste or creed and cultural diversity. Jinnah conceived Pakistan as a modern, democratic, constitutional state with an emphasis on the rule of law and equal citizenship for all. It's time to introspect for Pakistan and where we stand as far as Quaid's vision is concerned. It's time to ponder how we can implement Quaid's vision in letter and spirit.
That was a report prepared by our producer, Mahnoor. Rav Saab, first of all, sir, since a lot of programs have been conducted on this issue, that what was the vision of Quaid-E-Azam, what exactly wanted Pakistan to be. When we say that Pakistan is a new country, this is what we have heard very often. It's been only 72, 73 years. Well, I do understand, sir. China came into being along the same timeline.
It's a couple of years after we did.
When you talk about three countries, Italy, Germany and Japan, devastated during the Second World War. Hiroshima, Nagasaki is just a mere example where 250,000 people got killed. Otherwise, there was carpet bombing in almost every single city. What happened to Mussolini, what happened to Italy, we all know. The Allied forces from the western side, the Russians from the eastern side, end up squeezing Hitler and his military. And then Wall of Berlin, still, eventually they came up. I still remember Germany as West Germany in hockey and football. But now, sir, look at these top 7 economies. They are there. My point is, sir, when we talk about Pakistan, every single resource was given. Everything was handed over to Pakistan. Why are we still in this state where either we are carrying the begging bowls to the Muslim world or to other countries, and we are taking, I won't use this word taking dictation, but maybe some sort of an influence or persuasion does exist where they can persuade us to do whatever they want us to do. Is this what Quaid-E-Azam wanted, sir? Because I guess Quaid-E-Azam was a man of integrity.
Faisal, it's opening a Pandora's box. So let's open it.
You've got plenty of time, so
Let's open it. I hope my colleagues would join us. Let's begin by what did he want Pakistan to become? What was his vision of Pakistan? He spelled out his vision on the 11th of August, 1947. 3 days before Pakistan actually came into existence.
Correct, sir.
From the floor of the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan that was mandated to formulate Pakistan's first constitution. And his vision of Pakistan, as far as I have been able to understand the speech, and I've got the speech here with me today, and I would like to read out at least a couple of excerpts from that speech.
Please go ahead,
they're very meaningful. He envisaged this yet-to-be-born state as a liberal, progressive and egalitarian society. Liberal, progressive and egalitarian society. And if we look at what Pakistan has become today after 72 years, that instead of liberal, we have become a theocratic state. Instead of progressive, we have become a regressive state. And instead of egalitarian, we have become an intolerant state. This is the bottom line. Why? Why did it happen the way it happened? Because
And when?
it started happening in March 1949, when we adopted the Objectives Resolution, turning Pakistan, forcing the state of Pakistan to wear the apparel of religion, thus making it inherently discriminatory in dealing with its own people. And I still remember the speech that the leader of the opposition, Chandra Chappapadhyay, delivered from the floor of the same Constituent Assembly in his opposition to the adoption of the Objectives Resolution. And he said, I'm proud to be a Pakistani. Please don't take my right away from me to call myself a Pakistani, because on that day, when we adopted the Objectives Resolution, we divided the people of this country into Muslims, Christians, Hindus, Sikhs, and other factions. We did not remain Pakistanis.
Were people
any longer.
surprised at that time? Were they expecting this to happen?
Well, there are, again, you see, you have to go into the background of why it happened. There, of course, I can come up with a long narrative, and I don't think we will have the time to do that, but it happened. The fact of the matter is that from that day onwards, we started becoming more and more aggressive. Quaid-E-Azam wanted, for example, his words were, you're free to go to your temples, you're free to go to your mosques, or to any other place of worship. You may belong to any color, caste, creed. You may have any faith. That has nothing to do with the state of Pakistan, or the state has nothing to do with that. That means
That's your personal
he
thing.
categorically stated that the state will not deal with your personal faith, and I repeated it many times during the course of that speech. And we negated that foundational principle of Pakistan within a year and 8 months of our creation.
When you say we,
and then it was
I'm
downhill.
sure history has the record and everything. When you say we, We have also learned that this 11th August 1947 speech was, I mean, you know, when we say the history was distorted, there were a lot of editing in this speech also.
It disappeared.
I'm
from
not.
the
I'm not.
archives,
I'm not
that for a
talking
number of
about
years.
the speech which he delivered. I'm talking about the speech which was written and later
That's
on
right.
certain sentences
That's right.
were taken out of it.
Unity,
So
faith,
changing the total.
his motto, unity, faith, and discipline, was changed to faith, unity, and discipline, and the meaning of faith was changed. When he used the word faith, he meant you must have faith in yourself, in your ability to do whatever
belief.
you can. Belief.
Yes.
And we made it into a religious faith.
Somebody
And so many other
translated
people. Let
it
me not
that
name
way.
them. Let me not name them. Let me not name them. A society, a country, which distinguishes among its own people on the basis of their race, their faith, their color, or their creed, is a society which is doomed, is a country which is doomed. We were doomed barely a year and 8 months after our creation. And to date, in the next 70 years, we've done nothing to reverse the tide, but we've added to the problems of this country. Let me count so much else, basically. The blasphemy law, and, you know, let's not get into that. You know, which the germinations of that same objective resolution, which
So
is now the
primarily
preamble to
these
the
were the
Constitution.
products of Zia's era, right, Hamid Saab?
No. It started. No.
I would not agree for Zia's.
No.
Was it
I'll
much
tell-
before that?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yes.
much prior to that. I'll tell you one thing. In 1947, right, when it was announced that it's going to be a creation of Pakistan, I'm talking about earlier 1947, there was a leader, Allama Mashriqi. He said one thing, that if you want to have a country for Muslims separately, it should be ruled democratically, not the change of masters only. What exactly happening after and that's what exactly happened in Pakistan. That after Mr. Jinnah and after Liaquat Ali Khan's assassination, what we see is the same 22 families ruling, the same feudalism and all that ideology came back. Actually, we were just in the situation of changing of masters, and the nation could not develop itself anything. Secondly, I will say, when we talk about discrimination of religion, or we come to talk about crossing the lines between the religions. Yes, it did started from the objective resolution, because when we're going to talk about the superiority of a religion within a nation, it would divide the nation.
Yes.
And then, secondly, what do you think? What happened in East Pakistan? If we talk about that, right? There were Muslims there, but still, our tolerance, because I think now when we talk about new Pakistan, to be honest, we need to see where we went wrong. As you said in the beginning, if we will not see where we went wrong, we won't be able to get on the right track.
And business management, even otherwise,
Yeah.
they always believe
Exactly.
that if you know your problem, half your problem
Exactly.
is solved.
And when
But
you
we
don't-
do know our problem, of
Yeah.
whether we are just closing our eyes not to look at it.
Yeah.
If we do not want it to happen otherwise, or
Yeah.
maybe we
like you
don't
gave
want
the
to correct
example
it.
of Germany and then Italy, and then we talk about China and others, right? When we talk about their progress, there was one thing, they started in the right direction. Unfortunately, for the last 72 years, we don't have even any direction. This country has everything. I always believe.
But
lack
Hamid
of
Saab, in
leadership.
1960s,
This country had everything.
I
but
mean,
lack
we,
of
we, we,
leadership.
because I wasn't born then, but whatever I've read, or
We read
maybe
it.
I've heard from my seniors like Rao Saab or otherwise, that was the perfect era for Pakistan. We had taken off and
Yeah.
we were moving in the right direction.
Exactly.
Money was pouring in, industries were being established, we had
We had
dams
gas.
and we were building new ones. I
Yeah.
mean, there was this best irrigation system, our agricultural growth was tremendous, so was the manufacturing side and otherwise. But certainly later on, Bhutto comes in, and then we lose the East Pakistan, and then this turmoil started.
Yeah.
And then
And
in the late 70s, we ended up having martial law in Pakistan.
Yeah, and if we talk about we lose East Pakistan, there are so many other reasons for it, that we did not sustain as a democratic country as well. That is another reason for it. And then once we see in 1970s, our fall we could never recover from that. We could never recover from the loss of two major things. One, we lost the East Pakistan, right? And secondly, the people of Pakistan, they could not have a democratic rule. I always say that. In terms of when we talk about other dictatorships, even in democracy,
Look at
we
the
had
number of seats which were won by
Bhutto, and then we see the number of seats which were won by Mujibur Rahman.
Exactly, Mujibur
18%
Rahman.
vote was for Bhutto.
But in
and
terms of
68% vote
seats,
was-
maybe there were hardly 5 or 6 which they lost, right? Majority of
No,
the
no, no,
seats.
they lost only 2.
Two?
I
Yeah.
remember.
That's
They
what
were 161 out of 163.
Right.
In,
I mean, look
in
at
former
that.
East Pakistan.
That's more
In
than
East
99%.
Pakistan and
And over here,
altogether-
Bhutto had only 81.
Yes.
81 out of 136.
Yes.
You know, so just
68%
imagine.
of the
And
vote
yet he insists,
went to Mujibur Rahman, and 19% of the vote was, he had over 10 million votes, and Bhutto has 3.7 million votes.
And
That's
that
the fact.
eventually resulted
3.7
in
million votes
the partition
against
of
over 10
Pakistan.
million votes.
That resulted in 2 Pakistans, and we haven't learnt anything so
No,
far,
we
sir.
didn't.
Ghori Saab, there's a lot hidden behind that beautiful smile, sir. Please.
Yeah, let's
Speak your heart
continue
out.
with what my colleagues have already said. I mean, there are so many things to discuss when we talk about where we are heading now and how the forefathers of our nation, what they have envisioned. It's correct that they have pointed out that it was the objective resolution. From there it all started. Look at the present constitution, 1973 constitution. Even today, when an elected member takes an oath, be him or her a Muslim or a non-Muslim, you know the words. If you go to the wording, the wording is that I believe in ideology of Pakistan, which is based, not the exact, which is based on Islamic teachings and all that. I mean, if a person is a non-Muslim,
Yeah.
why you compel them?
Though the Islamic teachings are the best, there's
They are,
no doubt.
no doubt. We
But,
are not
yeah.
doubting. But if a person is not a Muslim, belongs to another faith, we force them to do that. And if somebody would try again to
There was
make
this
some change,
person
and
taking
you know,
oath in United Kingdom, sir. And I think it was a lady, I'm not sure, sir. Please correct me, Hamid Saab. And she said, well, I'll only take oath on Quran.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
she was a Muslim. And they said, fine.
Yeah.
no, even Nusrat Ghani, you know what she did? She said that since my mother, she doesn't understand English, I would be taking oath in English and Urdu as well. She has been MP for the 3rd time now. And they accepted that. I mean, this is what...
That's logical, that makes
is
a lot of
logical.
sense.
Yeah.
That if, I mean, certain people, they could have said. And the result today, I mean, what we are facing today is, I mean, the economic disaster and all this aside. Today, I mean, this year, the Human Development Index report that is issued by the United Nations, UNDP, we are at 152nd amongst 189 countries. Look at the, I mean, the level where we
If
are.
you go through those indicators of the World Economic Forum,
That is, we are today
We are-
at
you'll be
150.
ashamed.
We are on the bottom. Just 2 or 3 countries.
No, just 2
we-
countries.
everything.
Exactly.
Just 2 countries.
Yes, I remember.
That is
Just 2
on
or
equal-
3 countries.
Yes. Not only we have discriminated this discrimination of religious faiths, but also in the genders. On this gender gap, which is, I mean, it's a shameful thing that even the country, I mean, that was separated from us, it is doing much better.
Much better. They're doing tremendously
Tremendously
They are
well.
doing the best progress
Look,
in the region
second
at the moment.
largest garment manufacturing
Yes.
in the world, sir,
And
after
they
China.
failed, and they have faced more disasters in last 40 years than any other country.
Unfortunately, they're located
You
in
know
the
that because it is
region
always
which
under the
has
flooded area.
a lot of issues.
And Faisal, when we talk about taking the oath, I'll tell you one interesting fact of history. That the Sikh person who killed General Dyer, he went to England and he killed him, right? And you know which book he took for the oath? Because he was from a Sikh religion. He said that he will take the oath from a Bulle Shah's book. He said that's what Indian people believe in. Every religion will believe in one book, and I have found this book. So it is actually the diversity. Sometimes it needs to be diverse. Nation, we need to, as a nation, we cannot limit anything for anyone. Like when we talk, like gentleman was saying, absolutely right, that if Christian is taking oath, his oath should be within its own beliefs. Same what happens in House of Parliament in England. You have
Anywhere in the world, some of that
anywhere in the
matter.
world, you choose your book, and you're free to, even sometime they gave you the paper and they want you to select the words you want to say.
I just
Now-
want to continue this. Okay.
But there's another question, sir. When we say Islamic Republic of Pakistan, does it make any difference as far as the character is concerned of the nation, sir?
Why should it be an Islamic Republic?
Why do they have this name
Pakistan?
then?
I don't believe in it. I believe that it belongs to everybody, every citizen of this country. And all of them are not Muslims. And our strength lies in our diversity, not in our exclusiveness. We're not superior to any other race. We're not superior to any other religion. All religions are the same. And everybody who believes in a certain religion has the same kind of regard for that religion that Muslims have for Islam. So why should we say that our religion is any better than their religion?
I agree with
or
you.
their religion
I
is any
agree.
better than ours?
Every
So
religion
it is not.
teaches us humanity.
And
That's
let
the
me-
primary
let
thing.
me just-
But in general, sir, when you talk about our religion, I mean, it's the most beautiful religion. It talks about peace, peace and only peace, love, no hatred, nothing. I mean, you just go through the book and you'll understand what exactly God meant by it. But now, sir, when the same book is handed over to uneducated mullahs with no vision, no intelligence level, and the way they perceive it, they transfer it the same way. Do you think that has also played a very negative role?
Very major contributing factor. Very major contributing
Because
factor.
you've made them the
Islam is
custodians
today
of the religion,
hostage.
sir.
Islam is today hostage in the name of Jahiliyyah. They're all Jahiliyyah. They're not educated and learned people. They're Jahiliyyah. They're backward, they're degenerate, and they're regressive.
But
that
why
is
do they
exactly
only
what
breed
they're
in
trying to do.
Pakistan,
Because
sir?
unfortunately, let me
Why
just
do they only breed in Pakistan?
What-
Is this the conducive environment to have such characters around?
It has bred in Pakistan simply because very early on we forced the state of this state to wear the apparel of religion. So everybody knew that, it's our country, it's my country, as Muslims. And the others, let me share this with you. The first national holiday calendar of Pakistan,
Yes, go ahead, sir.
okay?
I remember.
Right.
I have seen
Basit.
the menu in the...
No, this is important. You see
On the
where we
25th of
started
December
from
for
and where we
Christmas.
have come.
Exactly.
And I was surprised.
Basant was a holiday. Holi was a holiday. Easter was a holiday. Baisakhi was a holiday.
Diwali was-
Then Diwali was a holiday. Then Dussehra was a holiday. Then Christmas was a holiday. So, all these
25th
celebrations were
December.
holidays, and every citizen of the country celebrated all these occasions. And what have we turned this into today? Only Muslim days are holidays. We don't even give a holiday on Christmas. Forget Baisakhis.
No.
Forget
I was about to
Diwalis.
ask,
Forget
is
everything
25th
else.
December
So,
a holiday because it's a Christmas or because it's the birthday of
it
our
is birthday of the
founders?
Qaid. It
It's
is
only
not
because
Christmas.
of the birthday of Quaid-E-Azam.
And one thing else that I want to tell you from the same speech, that Quaid-E-Azam delivered on the floor of the Constituent Assembly. Of course, he talked about an inclusive Pakistan, a liberal Pakistan, a progressive Pakistan, an egalitarian Pakistan. He also talked about three curses.
Go ahead, sir.
And he warned Pakistan of three curses. First is the curse of bribery and corruption. Foremost curse that he cited from the floor of the Constituent Assembly was bribery and corruption. The second curse he cited was black marketing. And the third curse that he cited was nepotism and jobbery. Sir, we suffer
All three.
consummately from all these curses today. So instead of being
He was a very
warned
smart man. He
and
knew this was
cured,
going to happen.
This is it. Just read that speech. It's 3.5 pages. Read the speech and you will know what Pakistan's dilemma is. That man was not just the person who created Pakistan. He was a visionary of immeasurable proportions. He could look into the future. And he knew exactly what he wanted Pakistan.
He was
And
a
let me
learned
share
man, sir.
another.
He was
I think it's very
educated in UK. He exactly
Exactly.
knew the psyche
this
of the
is the first
Goras, as we say.
salary slip of the Qaid. What I want to point out in this is that his total salary was 10,415 rupees, out of which 62% amounting to 62% went into tax. 62% of his salary went into tax. He received only 38% of his salary, amounting to 4,000 rupees.
Yeah.
This is the measure of personal integrity that
So
this
Quaid-E-Azam,
gentleman
in fact,
presented to the world.
Quaid-E-Azam and Nawaz Sharif shares
Yeah,
the
just-
same birthday.
just-
But interestingly, Quaid-E-Azam used to pay more tax then
Than
the
he pays
Prime
now.
Minister, who's a trillion times more.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
Wow.
Quaid-E-Azam was law unto
Yes.
himself. Nobody dare disrespect him. Nobody dare say no to him. And yet, 62% of his salary went into tax to the paid to the state of Pakistan. Sir,
This was
you
Quaid-E-Azam.
need
This was
people like him. Has there been anyone even remotely similar to in integrity, in character, in
That's the
vision
most
to the
interesting
time?
part. That's where the
Instead-
politics comes. Sir, if you allow me, Ghori Saab.
Sir.
Sheikh Rashid Saab is a very seasoned, I would say, an old politician of Pakistan, a very known name all over. I was watching this Indian movie in which also there was some reference of Sheikh Rashid, interestingly. Now, what I'm saying is, Sheikh Rashid Saab says that most of these politicians are all the product of gate number 4 of General Headquarters of Pakistan Army in Pindi. This is very open, he always says that. But I'm sure, sir, when you compare Quaid-E-Azam and you see those characters who are using a certain ladder to get there where they want to, and then all the three things, primarily when you say bribery or corruption or black marketing or nepotism for that matter, and they become the custodians of all this, sir.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And then trillions and trillions and trillions of rupees in the foreign currency, and you vanish. It's a very interesting question in a way, unlike me to be asking you, but let's imagine if Quaid-E-Azam was alive and he was watching all this. What would he say?
I think, I don't know.
How would he address those characters?
I
mean,
don't know,
what
they won't believe.
Sort of an
rather,
appreciation.
that the country they had created with such a, such a struggle. It was not an easy thing. And it's
During that migration, the maximum number of people who
the
killed,
vision,
right, sir?
And the
4
vision they
million.
had.
Imagine.
Yes, yes.
4 million documented casualties.
Yes.
Never in the history. No, I don't
There's
think.
no
I mean,
mu-
there's any other.
1 million. 1 million.
1 million.
One
No,
million, not
it's
4 million.
official. They say
No, 1 million.
one. Yeah,
The 1
4
million,
million was.
but the
I
thing
think
is,
after the Second World War and the
affected.
First World War,
Yeah.
till date,
Largest.
this was the largest.
Largest. Yeah.
largest. And so, all those problems that Rauf Saab has mentioned, which the Quaid-E-Azam at that time he had mentioned, they are still prevailing with, and we are facing all that.
It's become a part of fashion.
Yes, and
If you are a
and-
corrupt of the bigger level, oh my
Yes.
God, you're so cool.
and more sorry thing is that like 20 years back, 30 years back, people at least considered corruption as something not
Better social
acceptable.
norms, better social
But
values,
now
better
it
ethics.
has been accepted
Exactly.
as a norm. And those who do not indulge in that, the people say, yaar, ye to kuch nahi kabhi, matlab, they are worthless people, so they couldn't do anything. So this is the state. And when it comes to the rule of law, when it comes to the democratic values, which you have asked, if you see the politicians and the political parties that we have, we all believe in democracy, and we all strongly believe that the system should continue and continuity. But within these political parties, do you see any democracy? The way the elections
I don't
within
see
these
democracy
political-
anywhere,
so
sir.
Anywhere. So it's either one party or the other. It's the leaders. They it's family sort of enterprises. They have become. So we haven't. I would say we haven't done anything that that the founders had at that time they had envisioned. Having said that, still I think when some people they today they question about the two-nation theory. I think if you see the situation on the other side of the border, on the eastern side, you would see that had this country not been there, you couldn't imagine the way the situation is for the Muslims.
But sir,
there.
if there was,
But-
there is
but-
another
but-
school of
but
thought
that doesn't
says
mean-
that if
but
there
that
was no
doesn't-
division at that time, for example, then these 22, or maybe I think there are more than 26 crores, but let's assume they're 22 crore. These Muslims,
Altogether,
along with 22 in India and almost
8 million.
20
Yes,
in
yes,
Bangladesh,
yes, yeah.
that
8
would have
crore,
made
80
I mean, 60 crore
It is,
people.
it
sir?
is.
Yeah.
60 crore Muslims I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That would have made a huge difference.
No, but still, you know, the reason was that still you would have been a minority. It was not that
Sir,
your
the number
faith
of,
had,
I think when it comes to index, highest index anywhere, either that is in corruption where you'll find Muslim countries or in population, sir.
that is because we didn't. I mean, we
Siraj
the
Saab,
way we progress.
your
we
Amir of
didn't
Jamaat
make the
Islami says
progress
we
that-
Muslims
Yeah,
should
we
have
should
more
have
kids.
maximum kids.
Both
That was funny. I
strengthen
know.
my party.
Oh,
If-
yes.
if strengthen
Yeah.
Jamaat Islami.
Whether
that
they're
was
undernourished or
direction to
not,
his
that is a separate
members.
chapter, whether you
I
can
couldn't
afford them or
believe
not.
it. Yeah.
But that's the school
I
of
mean,
thought, and a lot of
yeah.
people believe in that.
Yeah, I mean, if we couldn't progress, that's a separate thing. But that doesn't mean that, I mean, the theory that on the basis of which this country was created, it was not only, I mean, it was not the religion that was under threat, it was the economic and political, I mean, the political, you would say, political security sort of thing, which actually was the issue. So, again, had we you know made the progress on the basis of pluralism and the society that Quaid-E-Azam and a few others who had envisioned at that time, it would have been a different country. You have given
the
example
moment
of
you
China.
talk about pluralism,
You-
a pluralistic society, or you talk about, for that matter,
Sir, today-
secular. This word secular is so misunderstood, unfortunately, that the moment you say secular, oh, that means that you do not believe in God.
irreligious.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, or he has nothing to do with
you're an
Islam.
atheist.
Yeah.
You
And
drink,
Faisal-
you party,
Faisal-
and
Yeah.
God knows what you're up to.
Exactly.
And even, you know, today,
You know, that's the
situation-
unfortunate
Exactly.
part.
We are in a
Unfortunate.
situation where, I mean, we at the time of appointments, there have been so many controversies without going into the faith of any person. During the tenure of this government, you would have seen there were some nominations of people because of their faith. The PTI had to withdraw. You have seen that
That's where the political parties should intervene,
They
sir,
should
that
not
we
be
will not take
compromised.
any
Nobel
pressure.
Prize
Yes.
in
They
physics.
shouldn't
I
be
mean,
any
these
compromise.
religious political parties, I mean, I think they have totally destroyed the fabric of our political
And
system.
Faisal, the person
setup,
who
sir.
was the first Pakistani to be Nobel Prize winner, we are not even, you know, we are not able to accept him. He opted to be buried in this country. Despite
Should I
all
give you
that.
another
And what
example?
do we do?
And-
We
Okay,
please
I don't
celebrate
want to
his
take the
tomb
name.
every day.
Exactly.
I don't want to
Please
take the name.
celebrate
Because,
his
sir, I've
tomb
got a
every
couple of
day.
more questions. I really want a quick
Yeah.
comment on that
Sure.
also. I'll give you one of a neighbor, a 3-star medicine surgeon general former. All right, sir? And the kind of contribution that man has given to this country,
Yeah.
you have no idea. The man died around 90 years, because last time we had dinner with him was like when he was close to 89. He passed away, and my house is right next to the army graveyard. Remember, I'm talking about, and his office, his hospital was bombed by the Taliban. Most of his family, they had to leave to Australia. There was a threat. Eventually, he died a peaceful death. He was not even allowed to be buried in
That
army
graveyard.
military graveyard. He was taken to Yabua. So what I'm saying is that, because that is going to open up another Pandora box again. But sir, when we talk about Riyasat-e-Medina, that's the ultimate vision our Prime Minister has. And it's beautiful, because he also looks at it from the point of view of justice, economic point of view, that is very important, ethical point. Your character, that should be, you know, if there's a woman totally dressed in gold and expensive clothes and walking in the night, nobody
should
would
have
even
no
dare
fear.
to look at her. Not because they're scared, because they don't want to. This is the kind of upbringing we want to our kids to go through. Now, sir, that Riyasat-e-Medina or the Naya Pakistan versus this Pakistan, don't you think Imran Khan, who is a brilliant man, I really love him as a cricketer and as a leader also, but the point is, sir, he overcommitted. He was maybe having this perfect idea that I'll be able to transform this, and the society has to go through a transition. The system has needs to go through that. But sir, unfortunately, when we look at it, it seems that that was a very, very super over-ambitious kind of a mindset which Khan Sahib had at that time. Sir?
what he could not understand, that for 72 years, this society has been fed on corruption, haram kamal. And
Socially and
it has
morally also
and
accepted.
It has become a mindset, as my friend was saying, that corruption, I still remember during the days of my grandparents, there was something called social boycott, hokka pani band, if
Exactly.
you remember. Even in a mahalla, even in a small habitation, basically, if they felt that somebody was getting off the line, then, him and his family, used to be banned by the residents of the area. Now, it's gone 180 degrees in the wrong direction. That those people who go wrong, those people who are corrupt, those people who are whatever they are, they use all unethical, illegal means to, get a place in society. They are the leaders
You should
of the
have
society.
a heavy bank account.
They
Doesn't
are-
matter how the money has come.
They are the leaders of the society. They are the gurus. They are.
They have set new standards
they carry
to-
the respect and all
to be a
that.
part of that
So
political circle.
What he could not gauge, that for 72 years this society had been fed on corruption, and that it had become a mindset. And it's very difficult to change a mindset. It does not happen in days or weeks or months. It takes years, maybe
Generations,
decades,
sir.
generations. And let me say this very bluntly, although I respect him immensely and I feel that he's committed to this country and he wants to do good to this country, and I think he's making an effort, yet he has not even taken the first step. Just hollering Riyasat-e-Medina is not going to bring Riyasat-e-Medina to Pakistan, Faisal. Just hollering an egalitarian society
Is this
or an
society,
inclusive society.
is this society ready
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
concept like
Yeah.
Riyasat-e-Medina, where whatever you're doing currently is the opposite what that Riyasat wants?
Absolutely. The curses.
That you need to be good, you need to be careful, you need to be looking after others. You
Even
need
the animals had
But the
rights.
curses-
Animals
the curses-
had
Look at the women rights in that.
14
we
or
suffer.
100 years back.
Quaid-E-Azam pointed out the curses. We suffer from all those curses, so consummately.
Even Riyasat-e-Medina had such tolerance for the non-Muslims.
Yeah.
And what do we do to non-Muslims in this country? And let me point out an incident of utter hypocrisy. There was a prime minister of this country called Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. And in 1976, of course, 1974, he declared the Ahmadis non-Muslim, an act that has so viciously divided the society. But in 76,
And
he
nobody
banned-
expected that from him,
and
actually.
in it, he banned the consumption of liquor in the country. And you know what?
Yeah.
He continued to enjoy his whiskey every evening.
I know.
Yeah.
Do people, this is the level of
This is-
hypocrisy
this is
that
what-
you exhibit at the highest level. I mean, why do you do something,
Which,
where you have to act hypocritically?
Isn't this happening even now?
It is happening even now.
exactly.
So we are hypocrites.
You see, when you speak out in public, you speak against such so-called ills, and you go back home and you take out your glass and your bottle, you do it. A society which is hypocritical,
They are going to
and
put
we
you in
are
a jail.
so deeply hypocritical
For that.
society. We cannot move up. I mean, you have to come to an understanding. You have to come to a reconciliation.
Then we
as
say,
to
oh my God,
just
brain drain.
what-
Oh, flight of capital. Oh, the
what kind
point
of
is,
people
sir,
do we want to become?
You want these people who are working abroad, I'm talking about the top-notch doctors, engineers, professionals, to come back and work here. Why?
Why should they come here?
The point. What for?
Yeah.
What are they? You offer me one thing, and that should be consistent, stability, political stability, or anything, or even security. The point is, sir, all the governments,
let me just-
all the governments, they are supposed to provide you certain very basic
I'll just
education,
take half a
health,
minute.
security. You talk about water, clean drinking water. Oh my God, we haven't been able to even do that. We are in the other direction, heading towards some.
Let me give you a very personal example, and I think I would highlight another point. My son, and he's my only son, he lives in London. And about 4, 5 years, 6 years ago, I got very emotional and I said, yeah, you've lived here enough, you've done enough, why don't you get back, you should come back. And he said, I'm willing to take the plane with you. I was so happy. And he said, but you have to make a promise to me. You have to make a commitment to me, as a matter of fact. And I said, all right, of course I will. And he said, what is that? He said, when I go back, I will be dealt with on merit. I said, stay here.
Merit?
I'm the example. Let me talk.
It's an alien word for me,
Let me
sir.
talk.
Hamid saab.
I am an example of expat. I lived in England for good 15 years in plus.
Then what went
I've-
wrong with you?
Yeah, I came back in the vision of this Naya Pakistan. I've just relocated back to Pakistan.
Good.
I put my daughters in the school here.
Okay.
Right? And whenever I am, within last 1 year, I have answered so many questions, and I am speechless for so many incidents what are happening
And
here.
I can assure you will remain
Honest,
speechless for another couple of years.
Everyone asks only one question, like you asked, gentlemen, that what was wrong with you? Why did you come back? The only reason I just thought that if we will start coming back as expats, we will be able to contribute better in the society.
Which
But
society?
That's the question. Exactly. When it has been discriminated in every way, when we see that all history, political leaders, they have exploited the religion, they have exploited the poverty, they have exploited the security, they have exploited every possible thing in this country. And again, even now, there is no doubt, I'll come to the topic again, there is no doubt for Mr. Jinnah's foresight. He did.
But sir, the man doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
His family is not even in
And
Pakistan.
Yes, and see, that's what my point is. Did anybody from his family came into politics? No, nobody even knows the
Mr.
name.
Wadia is having a ball of a time, sir.
Exactly.
Why should he waste his time in
Yes,
our politics?
Exactly. Then
What is he
Liaquat
gonna
Ali
get?
Khan, we saw, the
Oh, sir, forget about Liaquat Ali Khan, what we did.
yeah, the
He was
family-
assassinated anyway.
Liaquat Ali
That
Khan-
is again a very
Liaquat Ali
interesting
Khan is
topic.
very
We should have a
interesting
Liaquat
program
Ali
on that.
Khan is the
I
man
will-
who introduced the objectives resolution. Let's not forget
Yeah,
that.
No, I'm just saying
Now-
that
now-
the
now-
making the politics as a family business
He
is
was
a
the
bad.
man who brought in this.
Yeah. But the making-
Which law is that, sir? This blasphemy law.
Blasphemy law.
Blasphemy law,
Who was he?
Yeah,
You know, right?
Right.
And what happened to him?
yeah.
And why it happened to him? Come on, sir.
Yeah. No, I will just say that
Let's
this
not go there.
country
Sir.
unfortunately made this politics as a family business. That's the biggest tragedy.
You know the success for the
And then,
Western world is
yeah,
the day the Goras decided that, okay, because church was so powerful, and then there came another concept that was democracy. It wasn't blending well. So they said, well, this is better, this has to go away. So it went away, and this progressed.
yeah, they excluded
And
the
they're
role
ruling
of
the world.
religion.
I'm not saying, because over here the problem is, Gauri Saab, there is a very, very strong blend of religion in our politics.
Absolutely.
Whether you talk about Jamaat-e-Islami,
Absolutely.
you talk about JUIF, JUIS, and there are more than 200, maybe more. How many, sir? Registered organizations. In Pakistan.
In the Election Commission of Pakistan,
Yeah.
there are over 200. There are
Over
about
200, some
220
204, I'm not exactly sure, but and they hardly get any votes. They do, obviously, when you're talking about a country which has a population of around 25-30 crore, that's huge. But what I'm-
Ansarul Islam is also registered
Sir, there are
as a
so
body,
many.
you
They
know
change
that?
names and they come
Yeah.
in. Now, when they say, okay, well, give vote to the book. The book means to the Holy
The
Quran.
Holy Quran.
What are you supposed to do? Number one. And second, when these political parties, they challenge you on the basis of religion, exploitation of the religion, don't you think that in that case, these guys should be taken to task for once and all? That what are you doing with the religion? Because today what is happening to Pakistan is because of all these characters. I can name, if you want me to. They know nothing about anything.
Let me have the
Just
pleasure,
exploitation.
absolute pleasure of naming that.
Sir.
I would do it.
Faisal,
anytime.
I think, this is something we have systematically included it in our system. And it was religion and the security threat. These two things, systematically, that we thought that these are the two bases on which we might keep the country united or whatever was. But all that has
Sir, you
proven-
couldn't keep
but
the
all has-
Muslim Ummah united on this base. For
That's
God's
what
sake,
I'm
sir, what are
saying,
we
you
doing?
know,
We could not keep
and
our own
after-
country
Yeah,
together.
after-
we couldn't have the country together.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the point.
Yes. So
And
that was something, and now it is time to realize
Muslim
that,
Ummah. I don't know who
that- and
invented
you
this
have
word.
seen that even recently, these religious parties, they have been used one way or the other for some other motives. You look at the dharna
proxy.
in Faizabad 2 years back, and then
I
what
hope
it
he's not
turned
coming
out
again.
to be, the motives were something different.
When he's
But the
needed, he will
religion
come back.
was used at that time. Similarly, we used the religion when it came to those proxies, you would say, or those sort of people who
Sir,
had been
Afghan
waging-
war.
So
Afghan war
yeah,
was the issue
Yeah.
post 1979.
Yeah.
That's where we also went wrong. That was the time. In cricket, when you have those 15 overs in which the field restriction is there, you can score more.
Yes,
We, in fact,
We did everything.
We have played the
Yeah.
50 overs.
Yeah,
Have
Faisal,
we
we
said?
have did everything
Exactly.
wrong, but I think the positive, when we have discussed all those negatives, the positive thing is that today, I mean, we are sitting on a state TV, but we are discussing all these things.
But unfortunately,
So, no,
I was told
that
the
is-
moment we started
no,
talking
sir,
about the
no, but the
positive
thing is, it would-
things,
it
I
would-
mean, I
it
was
would
just told that we do
ultimate-
not have much time, so we'll keep the positive things.
But
you know, in
Faisal-
management,
Faisal-
again, they say there's a concept called SWOT analysis. Your strengths,
Ah.
your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Nobody has ever analyzed these major 4 factors in the assemblies. I can bet. Nobody even, 99% doesn't even know about it. Last minute, now before I close, I think, sir, what I have understood from this debate, that hope is a good thing. Hope is maybe the best of everything, you know.
Exactly.
But the point is that there should be hope, one should be optimistic, but one shouldn't be stupid.
True.
Yeah.
You know what? Nobody's ever won a match that nobody's ever scored 100 runs in 1 over. But the point is that at least we can correct. We can correct our path. We just need to get the right direction, and that needs that needs a good leadership. That also need a certain following in true spirit, because that holds the key. The point is not that, you know, oh, we are Pakistanis, we are a great resilient nation. Come on, sir, let's define the ingredients of a resilient nation. Just because somebody is slapping you 24/7 and you're not saying anything in return, that means, oh, he's a resilient man. No, sir. It doesn't happen that
Faisal,
way.
The problem is that.
Sir, last
Just a
15
second.
seconds and we have to.
Just a second, you know. Have we learned from our past?
No, sir.
That's a question.
No,
so
sir.
how can we become a better country, a better people?
I'm just giving you hope.
Hope.
So no hope.
Definitely.
Then you
I
said
don't
don't be
give up the
stupid.
hope.
You said have hope,
I
but
won't
don't be
give up the
stupid.
hope.
You're asking me to be stupid.
Me
No,
sitting
no,
here
no,
is a hope.
I'm sorry.
I
No,
don't
no,
say-
no, that's what you
No.
Myself
That's
sitting
your
here is a
perception.
hope. Faisal, myself sitting here is a hope. I'm telling you.
yeah.
Myself sitting
You
here
should be
is a
hopeful,
hope.
you know.
I am
Should
always
never
hopeful.
lose hope.
No.
Anyway, sir, thank you very much.
Pleasure,
It was a pleasure,
absolute
Hamid sir.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
sir.
much. And that's all we have for this.
Absolutely.
I'll see you tomorrow at 8. Till then, you take good care. Good afternoon.
बहुत कम अफराद तारीख को कोई अहम मोड़ देते हैं, बहुत ही कम दुनिया का नक्शा बदलते हैं, और शायद ही कोई एक कौमी नजरियाती रियासत कायम करता है। जिनाह को ये